So here we have the PlayStation Portal, and it's incredible how for a device that is actually really nice, really sleek, it's so divisive at the same time too. Now this device is only $200, and at $200 it does actually quite a bit. You have pretty much your whole PS5 library in the palm of your hands right here, and of course some PS4 games as well. Portal launched in November of 2023, so it's been about 6 months since this thing has been out, and I do use it actually every now and then. It's interesting because I don't use this thing as much as my Steam Deck, or even my Switch for that matter. But when I do use it, it is very nice to have your whole library of PS5 games just here at your hands on the go. It's so nice, and it's only $200. Now I say only because, of course, $200, especially in this economy, I haven't said that thing in so long, man. But in all seriousness, in this economy, $200 is actually quite a lot nowadays. That's a lot for a lot of people. And I was able to buy this by just, I cashed in some change I had in a bag, and I was able to actually have enough with the shipping and tax and everything because I was a PS Plus premium member at the time. I've downgraded since then, I think, to like the extra, but it did offer free shipping on PS Direct. So I did get this with just the change. But of course, not everybody has the luxury of being able to just throw away $200 to spend on this device. Portal has about, I think, an 8-inch display at 1080p, and it is capable of 60 frames a second. So when I am using it, it is a very nice experience. The battery life is actually quite long on this thing. I was able to get about 6 hours playing The Last of Us Part 1 Remaster on this. 6 hours is a lot. The Switch is not even, I think, halfway there, and the Steam Deck is definitely nowhere near 6 hours. Now, because it is a remote PlayStation player, you're able to access everything your PlayStation has to offer, such as the PlayStation Store. You are able to access that here as well. You're able to download your games into your system because this is an extension of your PlayStation, so you are able to access all your stuff. It does feature haptic feedback, so of course anytime where your controller would vibrate, this will vibrate too, because when you look at it, of course, it's just a big PlayStation controller with a screen right in the center, which is one of the funny things about this device when it was first being announced. So when you break this down into what you get in this package and for the price, it is very nice, but your games are not being played natively. So that's another thing about this. You have to have a PlayStation 5 to even have a Portal. So that kind of also just throws out the possibility if this is even worth it for you, because, you know, do you want to be using this instead of a Switch or Steam Deck also? I don't know. It's funny because I don't play my Switch a whole lot, but I play that more than my Portal. Now the Portal is nice, I go through it in waves. It's been about 6 months, of course, since I've had this, and I've only used, if I'm being honest, I've only used it maybe 5 times, like 5 long game sessions, you know, or in 5 kind of cycles, if you will. So this has been honestly sitting just in a corner for most of the time that I've had it. Is it worth it? Well, with a full-time job, of course, I'm able to actually get a lot of my gaming these days portably. I do game on my Switch, my Steam Deck quite a bit, and sometimes the Portal. So it's because of devices like this where I'm able to game now so much. And sometimes I can game either here at home if I'm not like wanting to be at my setup and I'm maybe in the morning in bed. I can game when I'm waking up, of course. Sometimes I do game at work also when I have time, like before the workday or lunch breaks. So to be able to have devices like this is very, I think, important for the average gamer today, especially if you have a job and any other kind of duties and responsibilities. And as cool as this thing is, it isn't without its downfalls also. The biggest one for me is that you can't really see on the screen, you can't see any indication of a battery life there. So you don't really know how much battery you have when you're using this device. The only thing you can really see is if you push one of these menu buttons on the top here, it does have a few buttons on the top, you are able to probably see just the bar indication. It's a battery logo or symbol, I should say, 3 separate bars. And you can kind of guesstimate based on that, but it's not an actual percentage. In fact, the only way you're able to get an actual percentage on how much battery life this has is when you plug in your charger. That's the only time you're ever able to actually see a numerical value as to how much your battery has, which is definitely something that's it's a downfall there. You want to be able to know, especially on a device like this where you're playing a game and you have to save somewhere if the game doesn't have autosave. I think most games these days do have some kind of an autosave function, but if you don't know how much battery life you have, then what good is a device like this? Because it could just go out on you at the drop of a dime. The online connectivity to this device is actually very nice. I remember being at work one day on lunch break and I decided to test out a game of Fortnite. It was actually working nicely. And of course, the great thing about this device is compared to a Switch, because of course, Fortnite's available on the Switch. You can't play it on the Steam Deck to my knowledge, but with a 60 frame per second device like this, it was crystal smooth. It was so nice, buttery smooth even, and there was no issues with anything. I didn't notice any stuttering. Though another downfall, the Wi-Fi on this when you're playing a game, Wi-Fi on this can be a little weird and wonky too. You would think that if you're not in your own home with your own Wi-Fi, which I'm in right now, no problem, right? I could be at work away from my actual home Wi-Fi playing this, and I have, and it's actually really great. I was having a coworker record me playing this while at work, and there was no issues. It was going smooth still, no frame drops, no stuttering, no buffering, nothing like that. So sometimes if you are having problems, the game will kind of buffer. It's really interesting how to see it happen. But yeah, at work, away, 20 miles, more like 20 minutes away from my home, no issues. But then if I were to switch rooms while playing this in the home itself, then I would get buffering. If I go from my room to the kitchen here or the living room, I would actually get buffering on this, which kind of surprised me because it's just the weird trade-off, if you will. No problems at work, but problems in the home where the Wi-Fi is. It's really, really weird how consistent the Wi-Fi is on here. Otherwise, there's no problems. I'm able to play, like I said, for 6 hours on here. Really nice speakers too. They can be turned all the way down or all the way up. I don't know how far it goes right there, but you can hear everything right there. Pretty good quality, I would say, for the speakers for a device like this. So you're probably wondering, what is the benefits or disadvantages of having a streaming device like this? Now, I know that the Steam Deck and the Switch plays games natively, whereas this is only like a streaming device. Of course, it doesn't really matter much to me, someone like me, because I have a library of 400 games right there on my Steam Deck, on my Portal. So to me, it's not a big deal because I have so many games to choose from. Now, if your library isn't as big as mine, of course, you might have more issues. But that's because I've been gaming on PlayStation since the 1, so I do have a PS4 and PS5, so this device does work for any of your games for the most part from that family system. I think there's only like maybe a handful of games that don't work for one reason or another. But games like Fall Guys and Fortnite does work, whereas it doesn't work on a device like this Steam Deck. So it does have its really great capabilities, being able to play any game from your PS5 library at the palm of your hands. I don't know how the Last of Us Part 1, I remember when it came out on PC, it was having a lot of issues and even more issues on the Steam Deck. So of course you can't really play that unless they made improvements, which I'm not personally aware of. But on a device like this where it's playing from your PS5, I can play The Last of Us on here portably, no problem. But for $200, you have to ask yourself if it is worth it, because while I do believe that every PS5 owner should have a Portal just for the novelty of it, if you don't really game portably, it might not be for you. And you can't say that about the Portal 2. $200 compared to other device prices is not the worst. A Steam Deck is probably around $400 to $500 at the minimum. But of course, the Switch Lite is $200 also, which plays games natively. But see, I don't know. I think you have to ask yourself, how worth it is this device? And I think for me, having it now for about 6 months, it might not be the best $200 you might spend. Now again, it wasn't really that big of a hit to me because I just used leftover chains that I'd accumulated, so it's not like I really noticed it that much. But not everybody can have that luxury still. So would I recommend this device to the casual gamer? Probably not. Now, before I got my Xbox recently for the first time, I think 2 years ago, that's my first ever Xbox I owned, but I would definitely consider myself at the time, before that, a PlayStation gamer for sure. And you might say fanboy these days, but yeah, maybe I was. But so I'm a very, very, very hardcore PlayStation gamer, and I have been for most of my life. So this device for me would be great. I don't know, the initial wow factor just went away, I think, after the first week of having this. Now let me know in the comments if you're considering getting a Portal. If you have one, what are your thoughts on it? Because I would love to discuss what you think about it too. Now, I'm going to actually be using it a little more often because I do want to play through God of War games on here, so it is going to get some playtime now soon. If you want to see some videos about that, actually, let me know about the gameplay of God of War or any other game. If you have an idea of a game you might want to see played on this, I would definitely love to see about it and hear about it in the comments. Now, I have been playing games on here for YouTube before. In fact, I did make a video where I played Mortal Kombat 1 on the PlayStation Portal. So if you want to check out that video, make sure to click the video right here by your side and see how that game performs on the Portal. I've been Little Chief. You've been amazing. I hope that you have a great morning, day, or night. I'll see you in the next video, and take care.